I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly, I'm not proud of it, but this is locker room talk.
Donald Trump last night responding to one of the early questions. Anderson Cooper asked it in that instance about that 11-year-old audio tape that was just released last Friday. Let's continue our conversation now with our high-powered political panel. First, Skyping in from New York City, the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCaughey, and from clear across the country, Los Angeles to be exact, also via Skype, political commentator Michael Reagan. Michael, of course, the son of President Ronald Reagan, and he's the author of the book about Mr. Reagan's legacy entitled Lessons My Father Taught Me, the Strength, Integrity, and Faith of Ronald Reagan. And as always, you can find and follow Michael on Twitter, his handle @ReaganWorld. We appreciate your time tonight here on Newsmax Prime. Now, Betsy, Mr. Trump apologized and things moved along. Now, I'm just interested, did he make that effective and turn the corner in such a way that it will bring back recalcitrant Republicans and the independence necessary for victory in 30 days' time?
Well, certainly he won the debate. He handled his apology very well and measured it against the big issues facing the world, like the beheading of Christians, drowning Christians in steel cages. He prosecuted the case against Hillary Clinton very well, underscoring her dishonesty and also the fact that she is an insider who's been in Washington 30 years, and look what we have. And most importantly, he made it clear that Hillary Clinton stands for political correctness. She's going to be the top cop in the speech police. And that's what I really wanted to get to, because Hillary Clinton feigned such shock, such horror at the words that Donald Trump used on that bus. But I recall very well that Hillary Clinton is a Beyonce fan. She and her husband have met with Beyonce and Jay-Z. They think they're terrific. So I pulled up some of the Beyonce lyrics.
All right, now this is a family show, Betsy, so
I'm not going to use these words. When he effed me good, I take his A to Red Lobster. Now, there was nothing that Donald Trump said on that bus that is any more pornographic than what Hillary and Bill listened to when they listened to Beyonce and Jay-Z. It's all F words, C words, B words, you get it. And the fact is, I don't know what got into Hillary that she finally decided to adopt these conservative Victorian sensibilities.
And belying that last night, Michael, was the response one of Hillary's national security advisors tweeted out, a rather pungent tweet to Donald Trump, "Go F yourself." If I'm not mistaken, according to a former member of the White House uniformed Secret Service detail, that was the response that Mrs. Clinton had mornings when uniformed Secret Service folks would have the temerity to say, "Good morning, Mrs. Clinton." So why the double standard, and did Trump turn the corner on that last night?
And there's always been a double standard. There always will be a double standard, and we just need to understand that and deal with it when you're going into a campaign. As I tell people who are going to be running for office, what is the one thing in your life you're most embarrassed about? Because whatever it is will be on the front page of every newspaper in the country if you reach a level that you look like you may in fact win. Did Donald Trump turn the corner? We're going to find out. Did Donald Trump win? Yes, he won the last hour. But Hillary only needed to win the first half hour. And the first half hour was the half hour dealing with women, because she felt if indeed she could keep the women in her corner, she could win the presidency of the United States on November 8th. So I think she actually did what she wanted to do, and Trump ended up doing exactly what he wanted to do.
Well, let's ask the woman on our panel. Betsy, did you sense that outreach to women last night? I know Hillary went over to the self-identified American Muslim and was very solicitous of her feelings on what was basically a national security question. Your take on, did it appeal to women?
Well, Hillary's very skilled at talking to town halls, repeating the name of the questioner, holding their hand, all of those things that really professional politicians know how to do. But the fact is, most women, just like most men, rate the economy their #1 concern. And Donald Trump made it clear that he's going to cut taxes and she isn't. And the fact is that I know there are a lot of women out there who are asking the important question last night: what's in your wallet?
Yes, I think we've heard that before, and that could be very effective in the campaign. Now, Michael, earlier on this program, I was speaking with my old House colleague, Tom DeLay, who certainly knows how to count votes. And Tom expressed some concern, this kind of balancing act on Capitol Hill, now focusing attention to the down ballot races. Paul Ryan saying, my endorsement of Donald Trump stands, but I'm not going to get out on the stump for him. We're worried about the House. Last night on your Twitter feed at Reagan World, here is what you tweeted out. My father would be so embarrassed by this. I ask all who loved my father to vote down ballot to save the country and the Republican Party. That prompts the question, Michael, do they leave the top spot on the ballot blank, or do they vote third party?
I think many people will leave the top blank. Out here in California, it doesn't matter because we've got no Republicans anyway. I think Donald Trump's the only
for Hillary Clinton.
Well, but, see, and Hillary and Betsy's getting to that, Michael. Leaving it blank or voting for Gary Johnson or even Jill Stein, that's a vote for Hillary.
Point. But if you let me finish the point I'm going to make, it's the fact, you know, with Hillary winning the election, the only salvation the Republican Party and the country have is to make sure that the House and the Senate remain in the hands of, in fact, the Republican Party. And that's exactly what Paul Ryan is concerned about. That is what the leader of the Senate is concerned about, looking at the polls.
Not good enough. It won't protect the Supreme Court.
You know, so you think about the Supreme Court, the followers of Donald Trump think about the Supreme Court, but most of the United States of America don't know how to spell Supreme Court.
Well, that doesn't matter. It's so important that we've got to encourage everybody to vote for Donald Trump.
Let me just
for leadership, Michael.
Here's the other thing, and again, I respect both of you, but having served on Capitol Hill and watching the politics at work, the fact is Paul Ryan has followed the John Boehner playbook, which is to duck and cover and vote full funding to Obama. I guess the question is this, Michael, in all sincerity, if this current leadership wouldn't stand up to Obama, what makes you think they're going to stand up to Hillary?
Well, you know, we don't know that, but if you give Hillary a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate and the presidency, I will tell you one thing, we can do no worse at re-electing Republicans to lead the House and, in fact, lead the Senate of the United States. You don't want Hillary to have a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate. And listen, I'm one of those people. Listen, I've been in the game too. I know you've been elected. I've been around politics most all my life. And right now, Donald Trump has nothing but an uphill battle to reach the White House. And he's going to need women on his team. And when 53% of the electorate are in fact women, and he has that tape out, no matter if it's 11 years ago or a minute and a half ago, and the other things he has said during the course of the campaign, he has a real trouble with that 53%. And if they're not in his back pocket, he is not going to be the president of the United States of America. Hillary is, and we need to keep the House and the Senate to protect us the best we can.
Final 40 seconds to you, Betsy.
Well, first of all, if the Republican Party had done adequate opposition research, they would have known about these tapes a long time ago, #1. #2, this should not affect the election. This is a political correctness at its worst. It's just the use of a little foul language between men on a bus. I can't believe that the future of the nation is supposed to turn on such a preposterous incident.
And you know, if I could just jump in, but we're willing to trust somebody who's never really voted Republican, was never a conservative before a year ago, June, never voted for my vote.
That was litigated months ago. He won the primary.
Why do you trust him so much? Because he says the right thing?
Well, we remember another guy who started politically as a Democrat, Ronald Reagan. And we also remembered that Mr. Trump supported Michael Reagan and Mr. Trump supported Bush.
To this, JD.
You know,
I'm just pointing out history.
None of those guys who left the ticket, who abandoned him this weekend, will ever get my support again. They're just like rats fleeing at the first sign of trouble.
Well, obviously, this is something that is...
became a Republican in '62, didn't run for office until 1965 as a Republican. He didn't become a Republican overnight.
And a quick view of time as it marches on. We're out of it. Betsy McCaughey in New York, Michael Reagan from Southern California. You have our thanks.